education partner is Miss Libby. We're going to go ahead and kick it off with a quick poll. We want to know what grade you're in. So Miss Danielle here is going to share a poll. So go ahead and just click on the grade level that you're in. And we want to hear from you. So if you can, go ahead and submit those numbers. We'll be sharing the results as we go. Awesome. Thank you so much. We see you guys hitting those buttons. Awesome.
Miss Joanna, if I could just interject real quick, I did want to mention to everybody as we get started, if the teachers on this webinar could please enter your name and your school and the number of students that are joining you on the chat. We will be disabling the chat feature because we do have a big amount of students joining us today, and we're so excited about that. But we would like your attention on the presentation. So once the teachers enter their name and the number of students and the school, we'll be disabling the chat feature. And then also, just so you know, this is a Zoom webinar, so we won't have the video cameras on. Just for the panelists, so that's who you'll be seeing on the screen. And then just one more thing that there is a Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. And so you can use that for your questions, and we'll be doing questions at the very end of the session. So that's when you can ask Miss Joanna and Miss Libby questions with them. And then Miss Danielle and I will also be taking questions at the end, okay?
Awesome, thank you, Miss Sonia, for that. And thank you for submitting your poll. So here are the results. Miss Libby, do you want to go ahead and talk a little bit about that?
Yes, so hello friends, we're so happy to have you here. It looks like the majority we have with us is going to be 3rd through 5th grade, and then a pretty close tie between 6th through 8th and pre-K through 2nd. So welcome friends, we're so happy to have you here. We have some fun stuff planned for you today. Miss Joanna is going to talk about why water matters. We see most of you drink a lot of water. 71%.
That's awesome.
Says water is the drink that they choose, and we work at the water district, so we love drinking water. Great to see. Thank you for answering, friends. We're going to go ahead and kick it off with why water matters from Miss Joanna.
Awesome. Thank you, Miss Libby. So why water matters? It's a very good question, right? There's 3 things we're going to be touching on today. So the first one is going to be why water matters, because water is life. Water is also a finite resource. And lastly, because of our future. So the first thing that I want to talk to you about is water being life. So right now, there are 4 things on the screen. These are some of the basic human physical needs in order to survive. One of those is breathing air, right? We all need air to survive. So if you can go ahead and take a deep breath in with me, take a deep breath in and exhale it out. Awesome, very good. So we all need oxygen to fill our lungs in order for our body to function. So we all need air to breathe, okay? Next thing is we all need food to eat, right? According to Google, humans can live up to 3 weeks. 3 weeks without food. That's a long time. I don't think me and Miss Libby can go on for that long, but we all need food to eat, right? We all love food. Yes. All right. Next thing that we need is shelter. We need shelter in order to protect us against the elements. So against wind, rain, snow, our bodies need some sort of heat in order to survive. So whether that be shelter at your home where you live or an apartment or whatnot, we all need shelter in order to be protected from extreme weather. All right. Now, water here is a completely different story. We all need water in order to live and survive. Not only humans, but even living things such as plants and animals need water to survive. So approximately 60 to 70% of the human body is made out of water. And every living cell in your body needs water to keep functioning. A human can only go about 3 to 4 days without water. Then your body starts to shut down and you won't be able to live much longer without it. So water is really life, so important. So at the end of our presentation, we'll make sure that you know how valuable water really is. So water is also needed in order to produce food, okay, and in order to produce that shelter that we talked about. Now, one of the cool things, Miss Libby touched on this a little bit, is that we work at a water district. And one of the coolest things that we get to do for our community is provide safe water for people to drink, cook, bathe with, and very important, especially right now, wash your hands with, okay? We all have to be washing our hands regularly in order to keep us healthy and safe, right? So at the water district, our job, our main job is to provide that safe water for people like you know, whatever age you are, for people like you to stay safe and to help you grow and to stay healthy. So that's one of the other important things why water is life. Now we're going to jump into number 2. Water is also very important and it matters because it is a finite resource. Okay, so 70 to 75% of the world of our earth is covered with water. Now, lots of you may be like going to the beach and to the ocean, right? But if you were to jump in and get splashed in the face and you accidentally drink some of that water, it does not taste like fresh water, right, Miss Libby?
Not at all.
No, that water is salt water and we cannot drink it, okay? The fresh water that we can drink comes from rivers and lakes and other freshwater sources. But some of that fresh water is also trapped or locked up in snow and in ice, such as in glaciers. So we need to protect our water that we do have available. So that's another thing that why water matters, okay? Lastly, I do want to mention water for our future, okay? In order to prosper in the future, we need to make sure that we use our water wisely. Our future generations, so when you get older, you know, you guys are all in elementary or in middle school, okay? So when you get older, you're gonna still need lots of water in order to stay healthy, right? So in order to have water in our future, we have to take care of it and we have to value it. It is so important. How we take care of our water now is going to make a big difference for our future. All right, so one of the cool things that Miss Libby is going to be talking about is how everything you wear, everything that you eat, maybe even the things that you use for school was once used or produced by water. So water was used to make it or water was used to produce it. Miss Libby's going to talk about water, indirect water use and direct water use. So we're going to go ahead and talk to you a little bit about that. It's going to be fun and we have some fun demonstrations for you as well. So stay plugged in.
All right, thank you so much, Joanna. So as we know from Miss Joanna, water is life. We use water every single day, no matter what we're doing. So we're going to go ahead and talk about our water footprint. But before, I wanted to let you know that water is in 2 different categories. So we're going to talk about water in a direct form and an indirect form. Now, what this means, water that's direct is water that comes out of your tap. So when you turn your faucet on at home, you can see the running water. And that water you can use for different things. So you can take a pot, you can fill that water, put it on your stove and cook your dinner. You can use that water to take a shower or a bath. You can use that water to water your lawn or water the plants you have at home. All of that water is considered direct because we see it. So we see that water and we are actually using it physically for our needs that we have in life. Now, on the other hand, indirect is a different way to view water. So instead of actually looking at it, indirect is the water that's used to produce the goods we consume. So for example, if we open our closet, we see all of the clothes we have. All of those items took a lot of water to produce, but we didn't see it. All we see is the clothing we have in our closet. Another example, your house. So we're all inside, hopefully, or in an apartment. If you look around, you have your furniture, you probably have your book, your laptop. All of that took water to be produced, and now you are the consumer of it. So although you are using that water, it's not in a direct form, it's indirectly. So those are the two different categories we're going to talk about when we're going into our water footprint. So our water footprint is how much fresh water we consume. So this is both in direct form and indirect. So think about your drinking water, your bathing water, but at the same time, all of the things you have at your house, all of your favorite goods that you have. So that is going to be our water footprint. And water footprint is different for each person. So my water footprint could be different than Miss Joanna's water footprint. We can think of our water footprint of our entire country. So the United States has a different water footprint than a different country. It all depends on the amount of water we use in our daily life. And like Miss Joanna said, water is life. So it's very important for us to be aware of how much water we are consuming in our individual lives. So we're going to go ahead and learn about the water footprint of a few objects I'm sure most of us have had at home. So the first one we're going to learn about is the water footprint of a pair of jeans. So I'm sure we all have our favorite pair of jeans, whether they're skinny jeans, straight jeans, jeggings, all of those are going to fit into this category of the water footprint of jeans. Now, as you see on the screen, jeans take 2,600 gallons of water.
What?
Now, this right here is just 1 gallon of water. So in order to create that pair of jeans we see on the screen, you need 2,600 gallons. Now you may be asking how? How does one pair of jeans take 2,600 gallons? And this is because jeans and a lot of our other clothing is made from cotton. So cotton is actually a plant. So each morning, the farmers have to wake up and water that cotton plant each and every day to ensure that it keeps on growing. And then once that cotton plant is ready to be turned into our jeans, we still have more to do. So we have denim that comes in a lot of different colors. We can have a light wash, a dark wash. We have jeans that are in all different colors that we can have. So the next process is you have to dye them. And this is another process that uses water. So you have to take the water and the dye to create the perfect colored jeans. And that's still not the end. So after we have our jeans ready, they're usually at some sort of factory. And in order for us to be able to purchase them, we need to have them at our local stores. So the next thing, the jeans have to be packaged, usually in some type of plastic. Then they have to be transported to our local stores, and that is either by truck or by car. And again, remember, those cars are an indirect source of water. So every process that took those jeans to reach our stores and go into our closets took water. So again, jeans is 2,600 gallons of water just for one pair. I'm sure we have multiple pairs of jeans at home.
That's a lot of water, Miss Woody.
That is a lot of water, my friend. All right, the next one we're going to look at is the water footprint of soda. So although we drink a lot of water, I'm sure on special occasions, we have some soda. And what we have here on the screen is going to be a 2-liter bottle of soda. So the family size soda that everyone can share. And although we may think that the only amount of water in this is what we can see, it's actually a lot more. So even though this is in a liquid state and we see this liquid here, the soda, it takes a lot more water for it to be processed. And this is because soda contains a lot of sugar. So soda is very sweet. That's why we like it as a little treat. But this sugar takes lots of water, and that's because it's kind of like cotton. So sugar, it comes from sugar cane, which is a plant. And like those farmers have to water that cotton, they also have to water the sugar cane before it's ready for us to turn it into our soda. So on the screen here, we see 2 bathtubs. Now that's because in order to make one 2-liter bottle of soda, it takes 2 full bathtubs of water. That is a lot of water, my friends. If we are going to take a bath and we turn on our tub, it takes quite a while for that tub to fill.
That's right.
Now you have to do that 2 times just to create one 2-liter bottle of soda. So that is a lot of water. And even though it's a liquid form, it still takes a lot more water than we can see. So that is our second example. Our last example is going to be food. So we're going to go over the water footprint of a cheeseburger. This is one of my favorite foods. So friends, I'm sure we've all had a cheeseburger or a hamburger before, whether you like In-N-Out or Five Guys or just barbecuing with your family. We're going to go over the water footprint of this cheeseburger. So we're going to go ahead and stop sharing our screen right now just because we have this as a model. So we want you guys to see us on the big screen. So we're going to go ahead and stop sharing. All right, so now you see us front and center. We have this cheeseburger model here. We're going to go over every single part of this cheeseburger to determine how much water it takes to make just one single hamburger. So our first part in our hamburger is the bun. So for this top bun, how much water do you think is going to go into this top bun? Miss Joanna, do you want to read it?
Yes, it takes 11 gallons of water to make just this top bun, just the top. Okay, so that's one bun. It takes 11 gallons. That's a lot of water for just one little piece of bread, right? Yeah,
Yes.
So we got 11 gallons for the bun.
All right, friends. Now this one, if you thought 11 gallons was a lot, just wait till we read you how much the patty is. The patty is going to be a lot more water because it comes from an animal. So animals, they take a lot of water because like us, they drink water. So we have to give them water every day for them to survive, as well as their food. So the food they eat took water as well to be processed. So this one's going to be a lot of water. Ready? Go for it, Miss Joanna.
Wow. All right. So this meat patty, my friends, 616 gallons of water. 616. Now that's a lot. Now, Miss Libby, I know some of my friends out there don't just eat one patty sometimes. Sometimes we, want to order a double from In-N-Out or even go bigger than that and get 3 or 4 patties. Now that's a whole lot of meat, right?
Yes.
But that is just for one patty. So if you get a double, it's going to be 616 times 2. So that's over 1,200 gallons of water. Lots of water, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, friends, we're already at a lot of water and we're not even halfway done. So here we go. The next part we're going to go through is the slice of cheese. So although this is really small, it also comes from animals. So this is a dairy product similar to the milk you have. So this one, although it's not as much as the meat, it's still a good amount of water it takes for us to have our cheese slice on here. All right, ready, Miss Joanna?
Yes, I'm ready. This piece of cheese takes 56 gallons of water. 56. That's a lot too, just for a slice of cheese.
That is a lot of water. All right, my friends, moving on, we have our vegetable on here. We have our lettuce. So lettuce is going to be our most water-friendly part of this hamburger here.
That's right. Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and read off how much water it takes for this piece of lettuce.
1.5 gallons of water. That's more like it, right?
Yes.
1.5 gallons.
So if you like salads, you're a very water-friendly person because you're leaving out that meat, which is a big part of our water here. All right, tomato, my friend. So we are going to go ahead and read off the tomato, our fruit.
3 gallons of water. So 3 gallons, not too much, but still, just for one slice of tomato. Sometimes cheeseburgers have more than one slice. So
Yes.
just for one slice, it takes 3 gallons of water to make that slice of tomato.
And friends, of course, if you go out to, let's just say, In-N-Out, or you're going to get a hamburger and you don't like certain parts, feel free to ask for it without the tomato. I personally don't eat tomatoes. I don't like the taste. So when I go out, I say no tomato, please. That way I know my water footprint. I'm saving those 3 gallons for someone else who can enjoy that, who actually enjoys tomatoes. So it's always good to make sure that we're aware of the water we're using. That way, in case we can think of ways we can save that water and use it elsewhere. All right, friends, so to complete our hamburger, we have our last part and it's the bottom bun. All right, Miss Joanna.
And that is another 11 gallons of water.
Wow.
11 gallons. So with all of these pieces of the cheeseburger added up, how many gallons of water does that take, Miss Libby?
In total, it's going to be 698 gallons and a half. So right here, we have our 1 gallon again, 698 just to make the one cheeseburger that we can eat in one sitting. I'm sure all of us have a cheeseburger and then we have a side of fries and maybe a soda. So you have to think about that's a lot of water we use just for one meal that we have.
That's right. Yeah, that's a lot of water. But it's a good model for us to think about. Every time you enjoy a cheeseburger, just think about what made that cheeseburger extra yummy. It was water, right? That's why water is so awesome. We need to take care of it. Like I said, my friends. All right. Lastly, Miss Libby.
Yes, so now that we've learned about how water is an important part of our life and how much water it actually takes for some of the things we have at our house and the things that we eat and drink, we're going to go over a few tips that you guys can do to reduce your water footprint. So one of the ones I talked about was not getting tomato. It can be as simple as not getting things that you won't eat and you're going to end up throwing away. So some other really good and easy methods you can reduce your water waste would be to turn the faucet off when you're washing your hands and brushing your teeth. So turn that faucet on, get your hands nice and wet, and then use your soap and rub all over your hands for 20 seconds. That's what's recommended right now. So you can save that 20 seconds of water until you're ready to rinse your hands off. Another one, take shorter showers. So it's recommended about 5-minute showers. I know some of my friends probably take 20 minutes. Of course, just try to reduce your water. It'll be better for our future, and it's just better for our life in general. Then the last little tip we have here is to use a reusable water bottle. So if we have our single-use plastic water bottles, those take a lot more water to create than they actually store. And that's because you have to get that plastic from the factory. And it, like we mentioned before, it has a lot of steps that go into that. So please use a reusable water bottle, fill it up at a reusable station. And now that we're at home more, we should be able to do that one. So those are some good tips we have for you guys here. And of course, if you have any questions, we'll have a Q&A at the end. But Joanna and I did want to mention that we offer field trips here for individual classes. And this can be on the water cycle. We have some about how to not waste our food. We have some about reducing our waste and recycling, all of those fun topics. So if your teacher is interested, we have field trips available and they can be found on our website at cbwbwater.com/field trips. Again, this was Miss Joanna and I am Miss Libby, and we had so much fun talking with you guys today. So we're going to go ahead and turn it over to Sonia and Danielle, and they're going to teach you about the sugary drinks that we all probably consume, how much sugar really goes into those.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you, Miss Sonia and Miss Danielle, for taking it over. Thanks, friends.
Well, thank you so much to the Cucamonga Valley Water District for that great presentation. Thank you. We really enjoyed it and learned so much. So a lot of what they said connects to what we're going to talk about next. So as I mentioned, my name is Sonia Colchado, nutrition educator with San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools. So Ms. Libby and Ms. Joanne talked about the water that is in the things that we eat, right? And the things that we drink. So yes, a lot of those things have water in it. So does that make them necessarily healthy? Well, there are parts of it that makes it healthy, but what we're going to talk more about is the sugar amount that's in some of those beverages, right? So next slide, please. So I want to start you off with this question. So we see here a list of different beverages, different drinks, right? We see energy drinks, we see water, we see sweetened tea, we see soda, we see 100% fruit juice, we see sports drinks, we see a juice drink that's not 100% juice. We see milk, we see a juice flavored soda, and then we see chocolate milk. So I want you to take a look at that and think which one of these is what you drink most often. So what have you been drinking this week? What typically, as you go up throughout your day, which one of these do you drink more often? And yes, I'll be asking you some questions as we go along. I know the chat feature isn't available for you, but I want you to think about it and answer out loud at home if you want. I also want to remind you that we do have a Q&A box that you're more than welcome to ask questions. And if you have any questions for Cucamonga Valley Water District, we're going to answer those at the end of this section. So please keep those questions coming. Okay, so which one of these did you select? I'm sure many of you kind of drink a variety of different beverages, but we're going to talk about what categories do these beverages fall in, right? And maybe there's some things that are not on this screen, right? That are not on this list that you also drink. Okay, so it's good to keep in mind and to be mindful of, so be aware of what we're drinking, right? On our day-to-day basis. So next slide, please. So what makes a drink healthy? Let's talk about what makes a drink healthy by using a symbol that we are familiar with, so a traffic light. So we're going to be talking about what we call go drinks. We're going to be talking about slow drinks and stop drinks. Okay, next slide, please. So I'm going to explain to you what those mean. Okay, so when we say go drinks, I'll show you a picture right here. So when we're talking about go drinks, these are drinks that have some health benefits to it. So low-fat milk would be an example of a go drink, or even fat-free milk. Okay, so we should drink a lot of this because they are high in calcium. So they have vitamins, they have health benefits that makes us strong, right? Calcium helps us build strong bones and teeth, which is great. And some people aren't able to drink milk, right? So maybe it doesn't make your tummy feel good. So if we can't drink milk, there's other alternatives that we can drink. We can have soy milk, or we can have almond milk. If it's unsweetened, that's even better because we don't want that added sugar. Okay, water is also healthy. Of course, we just heard a lot about water, and there's so many benefits to water. We use it in our day-to-day, but when we use pure water, so water that doesn't have anything added to it, no sugar added to it, that's also considered a go drink. Okay, so it refreshes our body, it has no calories, and when you don't drink enough water or other liquids, this can cause us to be dehydrated. So this can keep us from being as fast as we normally are, or as sharp as we normally are, right? So water helps keep us on our toes, right? It helps us be at our prime and our best that we can. And that's really important, right? Because when we're going to school and we're learning new things, we want to be at our best. So water helps us keep us at our best. Okay, next slide, please. So then what do I mean when I say slow drinks? What does slow drinks mean? Okay, so when we have drinks that have some nutrients, they have some health benefits, but they also have added sugar. And with that added sugar are a little extra calories, right? And if we drink too much of them, then that can cause us to not have as many health benefits, right? So what this means is that it's okay to have some, right? It's okay to have some 100% juice, right? It's okay to have some milk that's with added flavor, but we have to pace it. So we have to check how much we're drinking, okay? So they're okay in small amounts once in a while. So 100% juice has vitamins because it's made from fruit. So that's why it's 100% fruit juice. That's really important to pay attention to. But it has natural sugar. So fruit is great for us. It has a lot of vitamins, but just it has a little bit of that natural sugar. So if we have too much of it, then that can also cause it can also cause cavities in our teeth, right? So we have to be careful with that. So what we know is that we should take about 1 cup of juice a day, okay? And so Danielle, if you can just click it one more time. We see what 1 cup looks like on the screen, but I also want to show you here. This is what 1 cup looks like, right? And if we pour that 1 cup into a glass, that's what 1 cup of juice looks like, okay? So what we know and what doctors and experts say is that we should be drinking 1 cup of juice a day, right? So what happens is that sometimes we end up drinking 2 cups or 3 cups or 4 cups, right? So if we drink too much, then that added sugar, even though it's natural, right? Even though it's coming from fruit, it can still affect our dental health, for example, and still cause cavities. So we just have to be careful with that. So it's a better option, right? But we have to be careful about how much we drink. And then, so on what we also see a picture of here is flavored milk. So it's considered a slow drink because it's not just regular milk, but it has flavor in it. Can anyone guess what that flavor is? Right? It's chocolate milk. Okay, so it has added calories and it has added sugar. Okay, so that's why it's considered a slow drink. So that's why we have to be a little careful about how much of that milk that we drink, right? So if we're going to drink milk, preferably for it to be a go drink, we want it to just be regular milk that's 2% or 1%, so that it doesn't have as much fat in it. Okay, next slide, please. So then here we see the stop drinks. Okay, so these are stop drinks. What does this mean? So some drinks have a lot of sugar and calories, but may not have that many nutrients, that things that help us be healthy, right? So it doesn't have those added vitamins. Okay, so these are some examples of what a stop drink would be. So this is, as you see on your screen, right? We see soda, right? What else do you see on that screen? We see fruit flavored drinks, juice drinks that are not 100% fruit juice. We see sweetened tea, energy drinks, sports drinks, and others containing high amounts of sugar. Okay, so it's that sugar that we need to be careful with. Plain water is the best drink in order to stay active and to stay healthy, right? So energy drinks also have a lot of caffeine, and they can have harmful side effects. So if we're consuming them in high amounts, right? So they're not recommended for really young kids. Sports drinks, lots of people think that they're healthy, but they also have added sugar to them, right? So all of these that we see here have that extra sugar, right? So the best option that we would have that's not on the screen is actually water, right? Is what we want to start drinking more of. Okay, next slide, please. So here we see all of these drinks that we just talked about together. So we see at the top, we see the stop drinks that have the soda, the sports drink, the sweetened tea, the energy drink, the juice flavored soda, and then juice drink that's not 100% juice. And then our slow drinks, or our yellows, are 100% fruit juice and chocolate milk. So these have some health benefits to it, some vitamins, but we can't drink too much of it, right? So we're drinking 1 cup, right, a day. That's what's recommended. And then we see our green light, right? We see our green drink. So we see water there, and then we see just regular plain milk, right? So what we recommend is 2% or 1%. Okay. So we got this? Good. Next slide, please. So let's take a closer look at these stop drinks, okay? So we can learn why drinks with lots of sugar and calories are not healthy, okay? We're gonna take a look at those. So sweetened drinks have lots of calories, but not the nutrients you need to stay healthy, right? We want that calcium, we want that vitamin C that these stop drinks don't have. And they don't, and they make you feel, sometimes they make us feel full. So like we end up drinking all this soda or all this energy drinks. And so there's no room to drink the good stuff, right? The stuff that's actually giving us vitamins. When we drink, and also the opposite can happen also, right? And what I mean by that is if we are feeling really thirsty and we grab a soda and we start drinking it, right? Especially in the summertime, we don't pay attention to how much we're drinking. And we keep drinking more and more and more, and we keep feeling thirsty. Have you ever felt that when you're really thirsty and you grab a soda and you start drinking it and you're like, I'm so thirsty? That's because your body's not hydrating enough with the soda. We did learn in the previous presentation that soda does contain some water in it, right? That's what we learned, but it's water with sugar. So it's not hydrating our bodies enough to make us stop feeling thirsty, right? That's why when it's summertime and it's hot, before you know it, you're drinking 1, 2, 3, 4 of these bottles of soda because you're still thirsty. And that's because your body needs that natural water to make sure that you're hydrated. Okay, so when we drink sweetened drinks, we often don't drink healthier drinks like milk and water. And so we don't get the calcium that we need for the strong bones and teeth. And then what can happen also is that we can end up with tooth decay and cavities from all the sugar and sweetened drinks. And we can also gain too much weight from those added calories, right? So that can affect our health in one way or another. And it can be surprising to see just how much sugar is in some of these soft drinks, right? So that's what we're going to take a look at next. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's take a closer look at soda. So here we see a 20-ounce bottle of soda, okay? And we want to try to see how many teaspoons of sugar are in this 20-ounce bottle of soda. So we're going to count out loud. I know that I can't hear you, but that's okay if you can count at home with me. How many teaspoons of sugar are in this 20-ounce bottle of soda? Go ahead and take a guess. And what we're going to see on the screen in just one moment is you're going to see sugar cubes, so little sugar squares. So 1 sugar cube is the same as a teaspoon of sugar, okay? So I want to hear your guesses. I can't really hear you, but in my head, I can hear you. How many teaspoons or how many sugar cubes do you think are in this 20-ounce bottle of soda? Okay. In my head, I'm hearing you say 5 teaspoons, 10 teaspoons, 15 teaspoons, 20 teaspoons. I think someone even said 50 teaspoons. Okay. So we're going to see, and we're going to count out loud together how many teaspoons of sugar are in this 20-ounce bottle of soda. Okay. Ready? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Who guessed 16? If you guessed 16, you were right. Okay, so 16 sugar cubes of sugar in that soda. Okay, so I'm going to show you real quick what that looks like in terms of teaspoons. Okay, because 1 sugar cube is the same as a teaspoon. Okay, so I'm going to count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay, so this is just to kind of give you a little comparison. So this is 16 teaspoons, right? Which is the same as 16 sugar cubes in the 20-ounce bottle of soda. That's a lot of sugar, right? The thing is that we can't see it, right? When we're drinking that soda, we don't see all that sugar in there. We just see the soda, right? But 16 teaspoons of sugar is in that soda, right? So if we make ourselves some tea at home or something at home, right, to drink, we're not adding 16 teaspoons, right? But when we grab that soda bottle, we don't see it. So we don't know that that's all the sugar that we're drinking with that soda, okay? Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so this is interesting because every container every beverage, every drink that we drink, right, that comes in a container, right, like soda or energy drinks or sports drinks, they have behind it, they have a nutrition label, right? So anything that you pick up to drink that's in a container that you buy at the store has a nutrition label. So this gives that nutrition label, the one that you see on the screen, you don't see it here, but on the screen it gives you all the information about that beverage, about that drink that you're gonna consume, right? So how do we know, right? I just showed you how much sugar this soda bottle has, but how would you know that, right? Earlier I asked you to guess. So you all gave me your guesses. But how would you know before you drink it, right? So now we were talking, we told you how much it had, but how would you know if you want to figure it out on your own before you drink it? You would need to read that nutrition label, right? So the nutrition label gives you information about the grams of sugar in it. And it also gives you information about the serving size, right? So how many servings are in a soda bottle, right? If you take a close look at that label that we have on the screen, I want you to try to see if you can find it. We have it highlighted for you, and hopefully it's not too small, but I want you to try to find the serving size, okay, in that 20-ounce bottle. I also want to see if you can find the calories, right, that bottle has. And I also want to see if you can see where it says, I think it also has the calcium highlighted at the very bottom, right? How much calcium does it have? None, right? None of the vitamins and all the health benefits that you see listed on the bottom, they're all in 0, okay? Because it doesn't have any. So there's lots of good information that you can find in that nutrition label, right? But like I said, look for the sugar grams. And once we find the grams of sugar, what does that even mean, right? So you might think, okay, well, you just told me how many teaspoons, how many sugar cubes, but this says grams. So what does that mean? Next slide, please. So I'm going to show you what it means. Okay, so it's hard to figure out, right, with the picture, with the sugar grams, how many teaspoons it has. So you have to do a little bit of math. If this math is hard for you, that's okay. I'm going to explain it to you anyway. So 4 grams of sugar is equal to 1 teaspoon, okay, of sugar. So we kind of have to do a little bit of math to find out how many it has. So if we divide 65 grams of sugar by 4, we find out that a 20-ounce bottle of soda has 16 teaspoons of sugar, just like we saw, okay? So you have the 4 grams of sugar equaling 1 teaspoon, and you have the 65 grams of sugar divided by 4, and that equals 16 teaspoons of sugar, right? So it's a lot. Another way, right, if that's a little bit hard for us, the other way is, again, going back to that nutrition label, reading the ingredients, right? And if the very first, or even I would say, if it's the first ingredient or even the first 5 ingredients is sugar, that shows that there's a lot of sugar in that container that you're about to drink, okay? So if you have trouble finding that, you can always ask your mom or your dad or your brother or sister, hey, can you check real fast to see how much sugar this is, right? But after a while, we learned that even without reading the sugar, even without reading the label, right, or paying attention, we already know that 20-ounce bottle of soda is gonna have a lot of sugar, right? We're already gonna know those stop drinks, right? Like the energy drinks and the sweetened tea and the sports drinks have a lot of sugar, right? That's why it's important to learn this stuff. That way you already know beforehand, before having to do all this math, right? Next slide, please. So let's take a closer look at the sports drinks, okay? The sports drinks is also considered a stop drink, okay? Stop. Let's pay attention to that. So we can use the same math that we used with the soda. Go ahead and click, Danielle. And so we see here, right, that it's 14 grams of sugar. And so we're going to divide that by 4. And then we're going to look at the servings, right? So the serving size in the sports drinks is 2.5 servings, so 2.5. So that gives us 8.75 teaspoons of sugar. So it's a lot, almost 9. Let's count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, right? We counted 9, we rounded it off. So this is considered a stop drink, right? Because of that added sugar that it has in there, okay? Next slide, please. So that was the sports drink. Now we're gonna look at the sweetened tea. Okay, so sometimes we think tea might be a better option. Well, if we like tea, if you like cold tea, like in the summer, unsweetened would probably be a better version. But when you look at the sweetened tea, we see there the calculation for that too, right? 23 grams of sugar, you divide that by 4, you look at the serving size, so 2.5 servings per container, right? So that adds to the amount of sugar that's in there. So let's count out these sugar cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14 teaspoons of sugar, 14 sugar cubes in that sweetened tea, right? So if we like tea, let's go with the unsweetened option. And if you want to add just a little bit of sugar, then at least when you make it at home, or if you buy the unsweetened one, you can check how much sugar you're going to add, right? We don't have to drink all the sugar that comes in with the sweetened tea. All right, next slide, please. So let's take a look at the energy drinks. Okay, so energy drinks have lots of sugar as well. Okay, so we have 30 grams of sugar divided by 4. That's 7.5 teaspoons of sugar. But there's 2 servings in that energy drink, right? So we multiply that by 2. So 15 teaspoons of sugar. It's a lot. Let's count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 sugar cubes in that energy drink. So that's a lot, right? Let's see the next one. We have one more that we're going to look at. We're going to look at that. Next slide. At the fruit flavored soda. So fruit flavored soda, again, lots of sugar, right? We see 28 grams of sugar divided by 4, and then we have 1.5 servings in that container. Okay, let's count out those sugar cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. See, so we see all of those sugar cubes in that fruit flavored soda as well, right? So it's important to pay attention to that. Okay, next slide, please. Good job, everyone, right? So those stop drinks that we see here, right? Lots of sugar, right? We just went over how much sugar are in these drinks. So you know, even the ones that we think, okay, they might be a better option, like the sports drinks, they obviously have added sugar, right? So these are all considered stop drinks. All right, next slide, please. So when we see those stop drinks, right, when we have those at home or we see them somewhere else, we have to think, what would be a healthier option than the stop drink, right? So we learned earlier that a healthier option would be a go and a slow drink, okay? And so what did we say was considered to be a slow drink? Do you remember? Yes, we said that a slow drink would be 100% fruit juice, right? Or chocolate milk. So the chocolate milk has some of the health benefits, but it has added sugar to it. So a slow drink would mean like, yes, we can have some, but we're gonna have a small amount. Anybody remember how much? We said 1 cup, right? 1 cup a day. All right. So then what about those green drinks? What did we say are those green drinks? Those go drinks. We said that would be water, natural water without any added sugar, and also milk, right? So regular milk without any added sugar to it. Okay. So, and why is that milk important? Because it has that added calcium, right? It has that calcium and makes our bones strong. So lots of benefits to it. Okay, next slide, please. So we want to keep in mind those healthy drinks, right? When we go out, when we go grab something to eat, whether it's through the drive-through or if we're at a restaurant, you know, a lot of us have limitations on going out to restaurants right now, but if we're going out to eat and we're going to order something to drink, we want to keep those healthy drinks in mind, right? So we just said, right, that 100% juice, that regular milk without any added sugar, right? And of course, the main thing would be water, right? Water has lots of great benefits. We use it for so many great things, right? And yes, even though some of these drinks have added water to it, we want to make sure we keep that 100% natural water without any added sugar, to have our body perform at its best, right? Because we want to perform at our best all the time. Okay. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much. And we're going to take a few questions from you. So if there's a few questions to read off, Miss Danielle is going to be reading those off for us.
Okay, I have a question for Libby and for Joanna. There's a few actually, so I'll just go through them one at a time. Someone wanted to know, can people hydrate from food like a soup or ramen?
Hi, yes, thank you, Danielle, for that question. So people can hydrate from food, such as ramen or soup, because water is used to make those types of food. However, it probably has other ingredients in it, such as, sodium, other type of broth or whatnot that makes that up. So a majority of that won't hydrate your body as fully if you were to drink water instead. But you can get hydrated if that was the only thing that you could eat, was something like that or a soup. Your body would hydrate, but it wouldn't hydrate to its potential. That's a great question, though.
Very good. And then someone wanted to know how much again was it for, how much water was used for the hamburger?
Awesome, great question. Miss Libby, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, so for the entire hamburger and all of the components, it is a total of 698.5 gallons. So almost 700 gallons of water for just one hamburger. Great question.
Wow, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
And then another one was, how does water help our body?
Miss Libby, do you want to share?
Yeah, so water is what keeps us hydrated. So we wake up in the morning, we get our energy from the sun, but we also get our energy through our hydration. So when we're going for a long run, or if we're going to go on a workout, we definitely want to bring along some water because it's going to keep us hydrated and keep our body going. So like Joanna said, we can't really live without our water. So it's very, very important for us to keep hydrated. So when we run, when we work out, we're going to want to replace that water that we're losing in order to keep our bodies functioning and healthy.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right, Sonia, you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So your first question is, what is the best milk to drink?
So the best milk to drink would be any milk that's just plain milk, right? So no added chocolate or strawberry flavoring or anything like that. That's either 2% or 1% or even 0% in fat. So and the only reason we say that is because whole milk has added fat, right? So if you choose to go with a 2%, 1%, or even 0, it doesn't have that added fat. So you just get all of the benefits of the milk, the calcium, the vitamins, and all of that.
Very good. And then I have someone who asked, is it okay to drink sports drinks if you play athletics or in sports?
So that's a great question. So if you're an athlete and you're playing sports, right, and you get thirsty, I know that sports drinks are kind of one of those drinks that are go-to for athletes, but really in terms of hydration and hydrating your body and giving your body the best that it needs for it to perform at its best would be just regular water. Okay, so remember that sports drink has an added sugar component, right? So all your body needs to hydrate and perform at its best is the water. So if you are in sports teams and they give you the sports drinks to drink, you just want to make sure that you are mindful or you're paying attention to how much you're drinking, right? So that was the other thing that we're kind of talking about is that portion, right? So it doesn't mean that if that's all you have to drink and you're thirsty, you can maybe drink a little bit and make sure that you grab some water as well, because your body needs that natural water to really replenish and to hydrate.
Great. And then last one is diet soda considered a slow drink? And you want me to answer this one?
Sure.
Okay. I would say that it's going to be considered a stop drink still. because it does use artificial sugar. And so even though it's not real sugar, it's a different form of sugar. And you know, there's a lot of research that's done on artificial sugar and how how our body tolerates it and what, you know, things can happen long term to our body. And so I would still consider diet soda a stop drink. It would be something that I wouldn't have very often, for sure. So all good questions. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. And thank you to Miss Joanna and Miss Libby for joining us as well. You did a great presentation. We learned so much. And we just want to let all the teachers know that we have 2 more sessions coming up for these live, excuse me, nutrition education sessions that we're doing. We have another one coming up next month that's going to be with the YMCA. So there'll be a live pound class demo. So that's kind of like a drumming class. And then we'll be doing a nutrition session on protein. So just highlighting protein. And then in April, we're going to be also doing a live tour with Farmer Bob. And so we will be on location with Farmer Bob, who's located out of Redlands, and he's going to be showing us his citrus orchards. And we're going to be doing a nutrition lesson on fruits. So we are going to be sending out that flyer hopefully this week. And so please feel free to register as soon as you get that information. If you would like any more support from San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, feel free to also reach out to us via email. And we would love to support you with everything we can. I do want to say one more thing, that we're also going to be sending out an email for a nutrition education series, excuse me, at the end of the month. So that's going to be a cooking demo, and that's going to be a physical activity demo. That's a 1-week series. And that's specifically for 4th and 5th grade. But if you do happen to see that and you're in another grade, please feel free to reach out to us, and we'd be more than happy to support you in any way that we can. So again, thank you, everybody, for joining us, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, take care, friends.
Bye.